The final chapter on JFK, Chapter 19, Segment 3, The Window Frame.
Welcome to Segment 3, The Window Frame. After JFK was shot and the parade limousine was looked at and photographed, one of the things that became apparent was there was a crack in the windshield, which is what we're going to be discussing in an upcoming segment. But there was also two other marks within the inside of the limousine. Those two marks are what we're going to be discussing today. The problem we have is that while they were inspecting the limo, they never took it apart in terms of the frame itself, and the chrome that covered the actual top of the window frame wasn't even taken off, so that way investigators could look to see what actually happened to the metal beneath the window frame. Fortunately, I happen to have owned a 1961 Lincoln Continental, and we did a little bit of work on this. Here is a picture of the chrome being removed from my 1961 Lincoln Continental. It can be noted that there are two holes on both sides of the top window frame where a top would be secured and put in. Located in the middle of the top of the window frame is a chrome or stainless steel clip that holds both of the sun visors in the limousine. That clip extends from below the metal frame up across to the very top of the metal frame. And if you look closely, you can see that there is a lip on the frame. Now, I happen to have had a friend who has two interesting qualifications relating to the Kennedy assassination. One is he was a Ford engineer for a number of years, and he also was a licensed firearms dealer, so he had quite a bit of knowledge about weapons and bullets. When I talked to him about the window frame in the Kennedy limo, his comment to me was he called it junk metal. What he meant by that was that the metal that held the window in place and that was covered by a chrome sheet was not strong. And his prediction was if a bullet was fired at the top of the window frame and hit the metal, it would most likely go right through because the metal wasn't strong. So of course, I found a 1961 Lincoln Continental in the junkyard. We took the window out, and with a Mannlicher Carcano firing a 6.5 cartridge, using a laser scope, we shot at the top of the window frame of that junked vehicle. Several shots were taken. One hit right near the area where there was a mark in the Kennedy vehicle. And just like my friend predicted, the bullet went right through. Meaning that, at least with that test, it was not a full bullet that hit the Kennedy limo up at the top of the window frame. But of course, since this is a yes, no, or maybe so chapter, let's go a little further. If you look at the top of the Lincoln Continental window frame, you'll notice an edge. And that is metal that has been rolled over and then pushed down to create more of a ledge to allow the top of the chrome to sit on the window frame. That edge is much thicker than just the regular metal of the window frame itself. If we look at some diagrams, one of a piece of granite, if you notice, if you hit the edge of the granite, you have a lot more surface that a bullet would have to go through. The same thing as if you hit the very edge of angled steel, or if we want to look at it another way, if you hit the very edge of an axe versus going through the side of the metal of an axe, there's much more mass that the bullet has to strike and go through. What does this mean in this case? Although we cannot be 100% certain, since the top chrome piece was not taken off, and the vehicle was not inspected or dissected in that area by anyone, we're talking realistically that a bullet hit by pure happenstance the very edge of the rolled steel on the top frame of the Lincoln Continental front windshield. And if it hit that, chances are a bullet could not have gone through that entire mass, but would have in fact have broken apart and been deflected. If it had broken apart and been deflected, one of the things that might have happened is a piece of fragment might have hit the driver's visor, which was raised up at the time over the window frame, except for portion where the yellow arrow is showing would be below it. And a fragment might have hit that, and of course would not have gone through, but would have hit it and most likely moved the visor, creating a mark. And which would be even more expected, the bullet would have fragmented and dropped pieces in the Lincoln Continental limousine, which was exactly what the FBI found on November 23rd, 1963, after their agents had combed the limousine. They found a bullet fragment, which they identified as bullet fragment Q2, bullet from front seat cushion, and Q3, bullet fragment from front seat. The tragedy in the Kennedy assassination, aside from all of the other matters that we've gone through, is that in a situation such as this, there was no effort made to probe the area, to inspect the area, and to test the area to really help solve the crime. Because I never had access to the Kennedy limousine, and by the way, I was very young at the time, we cannot know for sure what caused the marks inside the limousine. But from a reasonable standpoint and a logical standpoint, it seems clear that the mark above the visor clip may have been a bullet hitting it. It broke up, left pieces in the front seat. A portion broke off and hit the visor, causing it to turn down. Now, of course, that's a yes, no, or maybe so, and I can't guarantee I'm right. But I can tell you with certainty, it checks all the boxes. With that said, I'll see you in the next segment.